Namaste, everyone. Welcome to this evening's wisdom sharing session. The question that we are going to look at today is, what is the bliss of existence? The bliss of existence is samadhi. This is the fourth sutra of Shiva Sutras. When you reach the self and become firmly established in it, you reach the most profound state of existence. Existence is at its greatest density at this point, for everything is created out of here. Your center is not only your center, but the center of all creation. We are separated only at the circumference. You and I are separations of the body, and we leave the body and turn within. The distance gets smaller and smaller. The day you know the soul, you will also have known God. The day you know your own self, you know the self of all creation, because the center of all is one. Distances only exist in the periphery. Shiva says, by attaining this existence within oneself, the joy of samadhi is attained. Samadhi sukham, the bliss of samadhi, these words should be understood. We have known many joys: the joy of a good dinner, the joy of good health and well-being. When we quench for our thirst, when we satisfy our hunger, such bodily joys we know fully. But we need to understand that all these joys carry complementary sorrows with them. If you are not thirsty, water will not bring you any joy. If you are prepared to undergo the torment of thirst, only then will you enjoy drinking water. The affliction, the agony comes first and is long. The ensuing joy is only momentary. As soon as the water slides down the throat, the thirst is quenched. The same is the true with food. The more you suffer from hunger, the tastier the food is. In the external world, in the world of objects, joy and sorrow are intrinsically connected. Therefore, the day you acquire a mansion, sleep will desert you. The day you obtain a feather bed, you will find yourself tossing in your sleep all night. Look at the laborer. He sleeps under a tree, on top of stones and pebbles, yet he sleeps like a log. Mosquitoes bite him. He is hot, his body is soaked with perspiration, but he is oblivious to everything. He has gone through such intense misery throughout the day that he has earned the joy that he will have in the night. So what is the meaning of the joy of samadhi? That which has no sorrow attached to it. The bliss of samadhi is not quenching any thirst. It is not filling an empty stomach, nor is it the weariness after a hard day's work. The bliss of samadhi is not connected with sorrow and toil. This is the difference between spiritual joy and worldly joy. The bliss of samadhi is the bliss of simply existing. No desire, no longing, no craving is connected with it. It is simply the joy of being. Therefore, Shiva speaks of the bliss of existence, Lokananda, that you are. That is a great bliss. It has nothing to do with desires and pain. The soul suffers from no hunger and no thirst. Hence, the question of hunger and thirst and the pleasure gained out of their satisfaction do not arise. All thirst and hunger belong to the body. So, when a person desires the pleasure of the body, he should also be prepared for the pains. The more he is prepared to go through the pains and suffering, the more happiness he attains. However, the joy of the soul is the purest of all joys. There is no place of sorrow there. But this occurs only at the center. At the circumference, you are the body. The body is the periphery. It is the surrounding wall of your vessel. It is not you. It is your outer circle. At the center, you are the soul. And it is here that a completely new kind of joy unfolds itself. Here, the joy is the joy of being, just being. There is no peak of happiness and an abyss of misery here. No ups and downs, no gains and losses, no night or day, no toil or rest. Only you are there. There you become eternal, and this state of being eternal is filled with joy. It is overflowing. Its juice never dries up. Therefore, saints call it eternal, everlasting, always new. Kabir says the juice of nectar flows incessantly, unhindered, without any variation. In the world of the soul, there are no opposites, no duality. Therefore, it is referred to as non-dual or indivisible. Here, there is only one, not two. But then it becomes difficult for us to understand what kind of joy this is, because we know of no joy without its ensuing pain. The pleasure of samadhi is entirely different. We do not have to pay the price for it, for what we set out to find is present now at this very moment. It is not somewhere in the future so that we must sit out on a quest and toil. It is present here and now. We possess it already. This treasure is our birthright. We don't have to pay the price of suffering to get it. In that case, one wonders what will it be like? Whatever joy we have not known cannot compare with or even give us an inkling of this joy, for all our joys are mixed with sorrows. All the nectar we know has been mixed with poison. With the body, this is bound to be the case. Birth and death, nectar and poison are side by side. Each worldly joy carries its counterpart of pain. But the soul is only immortal. There is no death for the soul. It is eternal. There are no opposites. There is only existence, pure existence. These sutras are very, very invaluable. He starts off, be filled with wonder, turn towards the self, become centered in your being so that great energy will be at your disposal. Let life be yours, the supreme life. Attain self-knowledge through intelligence, through awareness, the supreme awareness, and by breaking through your slumber, you shall enjoy the bliss of existence. The bliss of samadhi is yours for the asking. Worldly joy depends on very many factors. It depends on your capability and incapability. your education or non-education, your strength, your natural gifts, your relations, your connections. It depends on all these and many more. You are not alone there. If you are born into a poor household, you will take longer to achieve your goal. If you are born into a wealthy family, it may take you less time. If you are clever, cunning, intelligent, you may reach it early. If you are dull, stupid, you will wander a great deal. It is doubtful whether you will reach it at all. If the body is unhealthy or diseased, it is difficult. If your body is healthy, you are better equipped. So everything is accidental and depends on 1,001 things. The bliss of samadhi does not depend on anything. It is unconditional. It depends neither on your intellect nor on your body. It makes no difference whether you are worthy or unworthy. Nor does it depend on your family, your education, your looks, your sex, your caste or religion or your age. It is unconditional. It is unconditional joy because it is your own very own treasure. It is within you already. You are born with it. It is only that you have not paid attention to it, that is all. We have merely forgotten it, not lost it. So we need to turn our eyes, look back and look at ourselves. It is not that a clever person will attain more bliss in samadhi and a dull person less. This is not at all the case. Even illiterate people reach there. Kabir, who was illiterate, reached where Buddha reached. And when both reach, there is not an iota of difference between the two. The bliss of samadhi is the very nature of existence. So whether one is fair or dark, ugly or beautiful, healthy or unhealthy, whether our brain is filled with the words of various doctrines or not, all of this does not matter at all. Our being is sufficient. We exist is enough. Therefore, all meditation is a quest to turn inwards. When we forget the body and the mind, then we will begin to attain the joy of existence, the bliss of samadhi. Osho says, just try and do one simple thing. Try and forget the body and the mind for some time. As soon as they are forgotten, we begin to remember the soul, existence, ourselves. If we are aware of the body and mind, we cannot remember the soul. The mind and the body are on the periphery, where the soul is at the center. We cannot look at both of them at the same time. In meditation, if we can forget the body and mind for a little while, we will gain the taste of the bliss of samadhi. Osho says, once you get the taste, that is enough. Our life will take a different turn. It is the initial taste that is difficult. Once we know, once we have turned within and experienced, then we will know the trick. Then whenever we turn, we will see. All the effort is needed in the initial turning in. Once the key is in our hands, we are the masters. Then we can taste this pleasure at will. We may then wander fearlessly in the world and nobody can steal our treasure. Wherever we are, this bliss is with us and we can experience it. One thing will happen, that we will stop seeking worldly pleasures. When we attain the supreme joy, who cares about trivial pleasures? When diamonds and rubies are in our hands, who will hold on to colored stones? They will drop by themselves. We need not renounce them. For this reason, Osho says, a wise person renounces nothing. That which is useless falls away by itself. Ignorant people renounce because renunciation is painful for them. They have no knowledge of what is meaningful and they are busy renouncing the meaningless. But the mind clings. The mind says, you are living what is in your hands. How can you trust that which is not yet in your grasp? Besides, who even knows whether it exists or not? Osho tells us, give up nothing. He says, to have one taste of the bliss of samadhi is sufficient. This simple taste will become the supreme renunciation in our lives. Then we will know for ourselves what is useless. And once we know a thing to be useless, we feel no misgivings about letting go of it. Then it falls on its own. Osho says, I do not ask you to give up anything. I only ask you to know, to taste. This very taste then will slowly displace all that is trivial in our life. The useless just falls away. It does not need to be renounced. Meditation will lead us there. Thank you everyone for joining this evening's session. If anyone has got anything to share, please feel free to unmute yourself. Thank you everyone, and see you next week at the same time. We will continue with the Shiva Sutra journey. Namaste everyone.